to the final season. Can you believe we're already in the finale?
I cannot believe it. That's actually
crazy. We've been enjoying this so much with you guys, and we can't believe how this journey has gone by so far. Before we get too emotional and get into the words, we would love to let you guys know what our topic is today, which is
showing up for yourself.
Yes. Gotta show up for yourself.
That is such a hard thing to do sometimes. So I'm super excited to dive into it. Yes, but before we get ahead of ourselves, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. I'm Freddie.
And I'm Mimsy.
We would love to welcome you guys to the Coming Together podcast, where we sit down and get into the depths of personal growth, whether it's a relationship with yourself, or romantically. Here we break the goods and the bads of diving into that.
Got it. Okay.
Oh my goodness. Today's episode, and I can't believe this is the finale. A part of me is actually emotional.
Yeah?
Yes.
How do you think season 1 went?
This was such an adventure for us, honestly, and the fact that we have kind of slowly maneuver through it. I'm super proud of us, but I'm also wow. It's almost a one of okay, we did it 1 season down. It is emotional. I'm not even a crybaby like this. Yeah.
Yes.
Girl, do you remember the first episode?
Girl, yes. We're gonna tell you, we're gonna have to show them.
Maybe one day BTS.
Give them the BTS.
That's
the stories, because it was crazy. So let's just hop right in and talk about understanding what it means to show up for yourself.
For sure.
So what does that look like for you in your day-to-day life, showing up for yourself?
Oh my gosh, before we talk about how sometimes it can be non-existent, showing up for myself is prioritizing my health, right? Whether it be mental health, my physical health, my religious health, having that time put away for self-gain.
Yeah.
As selfish as it sounds, a lot of times it's actually not selfish. I think we tend to categorize it or the world or work or family or, children can make you feel like you're being selfish, but it's so necessary.
Yeah.
And it's by doing that you are able to realize some of your biggest dreams.
No,
Putting that time aside to prioritize yourself. So this is one of those topics that I can definitely connect with. Okay.
No, definitely. Me too. It was funny because I had gone to an event yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a Black Girl Digital event, and it was so funny because it wasn't funny. It was actually very creative because they had an artist come and sing, but they were directing it towards digital creators. And so she was singing about how the deepest love that she found was loving herself. And how that was the deepest love that you could ever do. And that really stuck out to me because it's truly, over and over again, you cannot go wrong with choosing yourself. Have you ever had those moments where you felt something in your gut, felt something in your heart, you should do this or you should be out by a certain time, and then go against it and feel so terrible?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I think that it's almost, I don't know if it's just me, as a first child, okay, as the eldest, it's a sin to prioritize myself. How dare I?
Okay, and I think that's a whole nother dynamic too. That's a whole nother dynamic. As a firstborn, so firstborns tap in because y'all get it. Y'all get it. I'm a firstborn too.
Yes.
And I think it's just something that's already in us.
Yeah.
Having siblings, younger siblings, you already that mode is activated. Where it's not about me first, but it's about them. I gotta make sure they're good before I put myself first. So already going into life, you're not prioritizing you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's it's very interesting to see that it's a language that we all speak. Anytime I run into a firstborn, they're always saying the same thing, and they're always saying the complete opposite about the youngest.
It's always the opposite. Y'all young siblings, the youngest siblings, y'all got it easy.
Get it together.
Y'all got it easy. I'm telling you.
Have you struggled with that, showing up for yourself ever?
Oh, all the time. Absolutely. I feel like it's just recently now that I'm getting to understand what it means to love myself, understand what it means to show up for myself, saying no, because I used to think that was selfish. Like, if I showed up for myself, I used to feel guilty because I'm like, oh, I'm not prioritizing this other person. Well, it's actually the other way around. You gotta put yourself first in order to love others how we should be loved.
Yeah. You know what's so interesting? I feel like I struggle with that, right? And the reason why is because my love language is doing for others. And sometimes I feel more fulfilled doing for others than I do doing for myself. I always feel more, I have way more passion. I have way more, I think, girth. I put way more effort, and I also get a lot more pleasure from like seeing or doing something for my child, or doing something for whoever I'm in a relationship with, or for my parents.
Y'all saw that last episode, y'all. She did a whole thing for me on my birthday. So surprised. Y'all saw it.
But most of the time, I wouldn't do that for myself. I almost feel like I wouldn't be excited to do it for myself.
Yeah.
I don't like hosting things to myself. I don't like attention on myself. Matter of fact, the way I feel the most gratitude is anything that I can do by myself, and not doing something for me. But at the same time, I think it's synopsis, right? So this is what I mean. I wouldn't go shopping for myself, right? But if I wouldn't want to work together with somebody else to do something for someone else.
Wow.
No.
Okay, but where's that coming from? It's like, it's
the disappointment, because people don't
okay.
let me tell you something. The way I work, and I'm like, I want to go hard, I need this person to love it. People don't share that same, except it's for them. So I get irritated. People don't show up on time, you know, but back to the regular time. But you know what I'm saying? So then I feel like I should just done it myself.
Yeah.
Like, nobody can do it better than I could do it. Nobody does it better than me, and that's on period.
Yeah, no, that's so true, so good. I think for me, that was big too.
Yeah.
And it was just recently where I realized, like, I cannot control everything, and I cannot control situations. And as hard as it is to let people in to help me, I need help. Like, I need community. I need other people to help me. But you're absolutely right, because listen, nobody can do it like you, and that's the issue. Y'all get it. Y'all entrepreneurs. Y'all the bosses in here. Y'all know nobody can do it. Nobody can do it like you.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that's why it's such a challenge.
Yeah.
To find that.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I used to hear all the time that when business owners, CEOs, whatever, managers, they look for somebody to hire, but part of their job is still micromanaging. So it's like, why did you even get somebody? But that's like an innate thing that a lot of people have and struggle with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. What is your definition of showing up for yourself? I don't even know what that is.
Showing up for myself, I mean simply poots. My accent. Hey, Jesus. Simply poots. Showing up for myself is literally as simple as it is, just putting myself first, making sure I'm taken care of first before I pour into others. And I know it's definitely a different perspective for you, especially having a child. You know, it's a different perspective because obviously your child comes first. But understanding what that looks like for me, and right now it's just prioritizing myself. What does that look like to me? It almost sounds selfish, but I always like to think, like, how is the situation helping me, benefiting me, making me better? So that's how I do it.
Yeah. No, I totally understand
Taking time for myself, self-care, you know?
Yes. Do you feel like you have to map out and schedule out time, or when you're scheduling, do you prioritize time for you?
And now it's like on my day-to-day schedule, it's like I'm prioritizing, I'm making my schedule work for me, around me, making sure that I'm able to get everything done that I need to get done. Because at the end of the day, it's only biting you in the butt when you can't get what you need to get done.
Do you apply the same thing in your relationship?
Explain.
No, do you like let's say if you're staying with your partner, this is a serious question, right? Staying with your partner, but I feel like a lot of people's issues and a lot of women that I speak to, right, is that when you're in the house, when you get up, the first thing you have to do, check on your kids. Or if your partner's going to work, first thing you have to do, make sure they're good before then you get your own peace of mind in your own time, right? So when you're saying, I have to make sure that I'm good first, in your relationship, would that apply? Like, how do you then say, like, let's say husband's going to work. You're going to have to get up and be like, oh, let me make sure that this person, or how do you do it? Because for me, that's how I do it.
Wow, that is a very interesting question because I never thought of it like that. And my man, if he's watching this, he can speak for himself. You might even have to bring him up on here so he can speak for himself. But you know, as I believe in like obviously treating everybody with respect and being considerate.
Yeah.
However, when it's to that specific scenario of like we're waking up, we're getting ready together, I'm gonna be considerate. I'm gonna think, okay, if I'm making breakfast for the two of us. It's not like you know. But when it comes to making sure I'm ready, I need to make sure I'm ready. I need to make sure I'm up on the time that I need to be up in order to, because I know what time it takes for me to get ready, do my hair, do my makeup. And sometimes what I notice is if I'm so caught up on him and what he needs to get done, I'm running behind, and then it ends up being my fault. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like at the end of the day, I think my whole thing and my whole learning journey in this process of loving yourself is you gotta prioritize yourself first, because at the end of the day, you're helping other people when you are on track, on time. Yeah?
I understand your perspective. Mine looks completely different.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but I understand your perspective. It makes sense.
Yeah.
For me, in any scenario that I've been in, right, I always feel like when I get people out of the way, I don't overthink. I don't stress out. Because I think my personality, because again, going back to like feeling fulfilled when somebody is good, even when I think earlier me and you were about to go shoot something and right away I was like, oh my gosh, Logan, I couldn't even function anymore. If I don't get that out of the way and make sure he's good, I completely am like, I can't even take care of myself. So in certain of those situations, like if I know I have to get ready, yes, I will get up first. This is what I would do differently though. I will cook breakfast. I'll put his clothes aside. And everything.
Why?
And then, no, that's not what that means. That's not what that means. But I think that my brain processes differently.
Yeah.
But I will say this. How does that
Who's
look
clothes,
on
your man?
Yes, girl. What? What if you have to iron his clothes now?
Hey, I think I'm just babe.
Wow. Yes, I enjoy that. Please. When I hear my son be like, my mommy does A, B, C, and people look at me, I'm like, yeah, and I do. Yeah. And my man's like, yeah, and she does this and she cooks really well and I'm like, and I do.
Wow, yeah, we're different in that.
Yeah. For sure. Like, even when you're saying showing up for yourself, question. No, let's not get lost. What's your love language?
Gifts.
No, the first one.
Physical touch.
Okay, really? Mine is word of affirmation.
And
acts of service.
Makes sense.
If you, and you know what, but it bites me, right? Because if I don't get the reaction I'm looking for, it hurt. It right away. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, was it enough?
Because that's what you want people to do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that actually, when you said that, it explained to me. I was like, oh, you know what? I think it's the words of affirmation. It's like that makes me feel. I be walking out like this.
That is so interesting. Like, it's just so interesting to me how like we're so like not even us too, but like how we operate as humans so differently and how we perceive things so differently in the form of love. So we would love to know what your love language is, y'all. Like, drop it down in the chat, whatever. Like, let us know. I think that's gonna be so interesting to see. You know what the audience like is mostly leaning towards. Like,
for sure. Especially with a lot of people are always like, oh, women love gifts, men love gifts. So I'm interested in seeing Let me know. I think it's very simple in the large scheme of things to show up for other people, right? Like fulfilling our work obligations, working with our clients and things. But it's so much harder to show up for ourselves. And when I think about it, I think one huge factor is the fear of like, either what it's going to look like, the selfishness aspect, or the fear of failing. So I think that's a huge thing to consider.
Wow, fear, man, that's such a good one.
Oh yeah.
And it's just we're not alone. Fear is a real thing.
Yeah.
And like, let's just stick right here and talk about overcoming fear and what that looks like, because I think, to me, fear is one of those things that is the number one thing that can show up as doubt and keep us from moving forward, keep us from chasing that dream, for showing up for ourselves, right? With the questions like, what if we fail? What if I'm not good enough? So how do we overcome that?
I think a huge aspect of it is definitely understanding that you're just as worthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good.
You're just as worthy of finding out what if you don't fail.
Wow.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The what if I fail should not overcome the what if I succeed.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure exactly what are the tools that, not being a counselor or anything, that a lot of people use to kind of flip that mindset, that half glass full, half glass empty mindset into the full part. Because one thing I feel like I'm transitioning is that, like, the things that used to scare me, like talking, I used to not like to talk to people and things like that.
Look at you.
You know what I'm saying? But those are now things that I'm like, oh no, that's what I have to do if I want the results that I'm seeking.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's one thing for me to confuse. What about you?
Honestly, like, that is something that I've struggled with. I still struggle with, because it's just so real. It's so there. It feels so heavy, like, in that moment. And for me, it's really just like that fear, which causes like analysis paralysis, which causes procrastination.
Oh, that's another one. Hold on. Procrastination. We'll get into that. Finish. That's next.
And it's literally just a spiral. So lately, like, what I've been doing that's really helped is, like you said, counteracting that fear with faith, with hope, and telling myself I am good enough, I am worthy. And guess what? I don't need to have it all together to start. I don't need to. And that's the issue, well, at least for me, is like, I feel like I need this, I need that, and the other, right? And the list goes on, and you realize the list keeps going. So really just being able to see what you have around you, using your resources and everything that you have, because 9 times out of 10, I guarantee y'all,
you have everything you need. That's like our
thing. I
thing.
guarantee y'all.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, let's just even talk about this podcast for a second, right? Like, we tried to do this 2 years ago, and we were in that space of like, we needed to have this and that, and got discouraged, right? Ended up not doing it, I mean, a lot of things too were in play, like timing and all the things. I believe like God's timing is the best, so we're here now. So like, starting this podcast and everything like that, we tried and this time around we were just like, you know what, let's use what we have, let's use the resources that we have. And come to find out, we had everything that we needed. So just to encourage you guys, if you're thinking of starting that business, if you're thinking of starting that podcast, if you're thinking of starting that, what else you got for them?
Writing that book,
like whatever is
that, looking into that job, that certificate. You don't want to start me there.
So just do it. You're able, you're capable, and you have what it takes.
Absolutely. And use your resources. Our resources, I think a lot of us don't realize that asking for help, asking questions, the internet, social media is not just for us to be swiping up and looking at TV and shade room. It's for us to use it as a tool. Absolutely. It's literally money at our hands. It's a resource. People make millions, billions from their phone. It's a resource that we're supposed to use to better ourselves. It's not just to better these billionaires as they make money, these millionaires as to buy things. It's to better yourself. Do the self-work, self-help, all those things. Whatever you're scared about, somebody like you is doing it.
Right. Yeah, and they're human too, just like you.
Absolutely.
So why not? Why not? I was just telling myself that the other day, because I was like, man, like, at that same event I was talking about, Pastor Star was doing his like announcement, and he was just talking about how like he sold like $70 million like with his Mac companion. I was like, man, that's like so amazing. And these are humans, like just like you and I. So it's like, if they can do it, so you can too. And so can you, so can I. Together.
So when's the makeup line coming?
Soon.
Period. That's what I wanted to hear. You heard it here first, okay? Okay, there's something super important that you brought up that I would love for us to kind of like dive into, because I think it's an issue for a lot of people. And as we enter a new season soon, I think a lot of people fight that, and it's procrastination. Procrastination has never been my friend. I can honestly say I'm one of those people that I don't really procrastinate. I think my biggest thing is sometimes I don't realize that I'm procrastinating because it looks different. It looks like prioritizing what's important for others. Ooh. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work out 5 times this week. Oh, but I gotta wake up for work. Oh, I gotta make sure this person gets on the bus. And then it doesn't look like I'm procrastinating on myself, but I really am.
Wow, because that's what you need, something from that, because it's feeding you that words of affirmation, that validation. So you're prioritizing that instead of yourself, because yourself, quote unquote, is not really giving you any type of affirmation, any type of feeling.
Yeah.
Right?
From then on, I feel like if I don't prioritize that, I would actually feel like I didn't do what I needed to do, instead of looking at me as a need to do.
That's
you know
crazy.
what I'm saying? Yeah. How about you? Procrastination. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I think I touched on it a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been a struggle for me, and thank God that I'm kind of overcoming it right now. And the only thing that honestly has helped is just taking a little bit at a time, taking a little bit of it each day. Because sometimes when you're looking at your vision, you're looking at your life goals, it can seem so overwhelming, or the things that you have to get done, right? Even on a smaller scale, your daily schedule, we're also busy. Like nowadays, you got to take your vitamins, you got to, you know what I'm saying, get your workout routine in, then you got to learn how to get cute, all the things. So there's just so much on our plates now. I think in this stage of life, that taking a little bit each day at a time, breaking everything down. So what I like to do is the night before, I time schedule my day. So whatever that looks like, I'll time schedule my day, and that way it kind of keeps me on track and making sure that I'm prioritizing the things that are actually important.
Yeah. I think one of my methods is practicing discipline, right? And I remember back in the days when we used to have a homework planner. So journaling before going to sleep. And when I'm journaling about things that I wanted to do better. And then trying to apply that on the next day. So let's say today I skipped the gym. That's fine. I wrote down, this is what I wish I had done.
Wow.
And then tomorrow carrying over, and that's the part I prioritize to do.
That's
so
what helps me. That's so interesting that you said that, because I've been told time and time again, you need to start journaling. You need to start journaling.
My gosh.
And that's for me so hard. It's such a challenge to journal. Sit there and write. And I don't have to write. You know what I mean? I don't have to, but succumbing myself to sit there and think about, okay, this is what I did today, this is what I wish went different, is so hard.
But Nims, you're thinking about it one way.
Okay.
Journaling can literally be talking into your phone. You're talking and it's writing for you.
Y'all.
And it's writing for you. And then you listen to it, right? And when you listen to it, whatever it is, you change it on the next day when you're planning it out.
Okay.
Oh, girls 2024, baby. We ain't writing in the corner saying 2 hours. Let me sit down and think about
when I think of journaling, I think having your book, having your pen, and literally just...
Honestly, I do it like that too, because it helps you kind of think.
That's what I heard.
Right? Yeah, exactly. You get to stop. You think, you read. You can erase. Sometimes you're like, oh no, I didn't like that. But honestly, I was listening to this podcast, and that's literally what the man was saying. The man was saying he journals, but because he doesn't have time, he put it's a punt. He speaks, stops, speaks, stops, and at the end of the day, he listens to what his concerns were, because he said throughout the day. So he does, and it helps him because he doesn't forget.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
Like right then and there when it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think
that's
that
what you're
does?
doing.
Like, how do you think that helps
I
the
think
brain or?
that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because I think he can go through his day. That's what he said. That he goes through his day and he doesn't have any worries. Like whatever it is, at that moment he lets go of it. After he's talked about it, he lets go of it. And that's what journaling is supposed to help us do, right?
Yeah.
Process what's stuck in our head. So a lot of us hold that in for a long time, and afterwards we want to list it all and write about it and deal with it. When he says it into the microphone, pauses into that, and then goes back and deals with it when he's in his own, when he's showing up for himself.
Okay. Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness. You just took me to a whole other place right now. I'm over here in deep thought. Like
Me, I be
oh my
procrastinating.
God.
Like I'll write it when I get home tonight. I can't wait
Then
to
you
journal.
get home, you don't even remember what you even.
No.
Yeah.
Logan needs something. I need something. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. I skipped journaling today. I'm journaling tomorrow. If that. Yeah. Procrastination is an animal in its own. You have fear. You have procrastination. Things like that are things that a lot of us we struggle to deal with and don't know how to address them.
Yeah.
So I would love to know, how do you guys deal with some of these issues? What are some of the tools that you guys have used to overcome fear as well as procrastination? We call it the spirit of procrastination.
The spirit of procrastination.
It indeed is.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's a perfect way to wrap up this episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Definitely.
We really hope that you guys can engage and discuss and take part into this discussion, as well as we love to encourage you guys to follow us, share this topic. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know what family member thinks, friend thinks. You can follow us at the social media platform right here. We hope you guys gained a lot of insight from this conversation. We have loved bringing this to you, and we cannot wait for season 2. Bye, guys.